Mark Wahlberg, the American star, proved doubters wrong from the start, eventually ending up as an Oscar-nominated star and world-class producer. While still in his 30s, Mark Robert Michael Wahlberg was born on June 5, 1971 in the working-class Boston district of Dorchester. He was the youngest of 9 children to Alma Elaine, a bank clerk and nurse's assistant, and Donald Edward Wahlberg, a teamster, a U.S. trade union member, who worked as a delivery driver. The actor's parents divorced when he was 11, and the young Mark went off the rails. By age 14 he had dropped out of school and had problems with drug addictions and was regularly in trouble with the police. At 16, the troubled youth was convicted of assaulting 2 Vietnamese men he was trying to steal beer from. He spent 45 days in jail for the offense, and says that experience changed his life. "I was there, locked up with the kind of guys I'd always wanted to be like," he remembers of the time. "I realized it wasn't what I wanted at all. I'd ended up in the worst place I could possibly imagine and I never wanted to go back. First of all, I had to learn to stay on the straight and narrow." With the support of his parish priest, Mark, who is a devout Catholic, turned his back on crime, severing his links with the street gang. Also helping him find a new direction in his life was his brother Donnie, who was then famous as a member of boy band New Kids on the Block. Mark had been one of the original members aged 13, but quit over his reservations about the group's squeaky clean image. Donnie thought his brother's look, background and attitude gave him the right credentials to be a rap artist. So he set up meetings with record company execs, and soon Mark began recording under the name Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. His debut album, Music for the People, was a smash hit that eventually went platinum. Teenage girls couldn't get enough of Mark, who had a buff new physique after getting into working out in jail, and his willingness to strip down to his boxer shorts while on stage didn't hurt either, something that soon landed him the job of Calvin Klein's chief underwear model. At the start of the 90s, the media was full of stories concerning the rapper's bad boy antics, including a fight with Madonna and her entourage. And the musician fell out of favor with the public when news of his earlier arrest for assault surfaced. There were also accusations of a racist motive, something Mark denies. His second album, which hadn't been doing so well anyway, bombed out of the charts. Attempting to salvage his career, his recording company tried to push him down a more commercial route, but his heart wasn't in it. Mark decided to wait out his contract, which meant 6 long years before he could take his business elsewhere. It was at this point the star decided to try his hand at acting, after director Penny Marshall persuaded him he could really be good at it. At the time, he remembers, "It was the last thing I wanted to do." But with nothing else on his plate, he thought he would give it a go. After spending 20 weeks filming Renaissance Man, in which he delivered a convincing performance as a tough-talking soldier from a trailer park, Mark caught the acting bug. "I truly felt like I'd found my calling," he remembers. He put his heart and soul into his new profession, churning out one great role after another. He played Leonardo DiCaprio's best friend in The Basketball Diaries and scared audiences with his portrayal of a psychotic boyfriend in Fear. But the part that made the critics really sit up and take notice was when he played the protagonist of Boogie Nights, a look at the 70s porn scene. His metamorphosis from reclusive youngster Eddie Adams into ego-driven porn star Dirk Diggler showed off his range of abilities brilliantly. After that he was firmly in demand, starring with big-name stars like George Clooney, with whom he appeared in Three Kings and A Perfect Storm, and Dustin Hoffman, Jude Law and Naomi Watts, who made up the ensemble cast of 2004 flick I Heart Huckabees. There were a few box office misses on the way, but award recognition came calling when he teamed up with Leonardo again on Martin Scorsese's film The Departed in 2006. It earned him a Golden Globe nod and an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. But more than that, it allowed him to form a bond to the critically acclaimed director, which would see them working together on Boardwalk Empire. He didn't appear in it, but instead Mark produced the highly praised gangster series. It hit screens in the US in 2010. But before that he already made a name for himself as a successful producer with Entourage, How to Make It in America and In Treatment. That's not to say Mark has turned his back on acting. In 2010 he filmed his first comedy, The Good Guys, opposite Will Ferrell and won widespread acclaim, and another Golden Globe nod, for his portrayal of boxer Irish Mickey Ward. The actor trained for 4 years to get the muscular physique for the film, often getting up at 4.30 m to fit in training around other film roles. Early on in his career Mark dated Reese Witherspoon and Chana Chow, his co-star from the big hit. But ultimately there was only one woman for him, model Rhea Durham. The couple got married in August 2009 after dating for 8 years, and are parents to 4 children. Ella Ray was born on September 2, 2003, and Michael Robert arrived 3 years later on March 21. 2 more years went by before they added to their family again with Brendan Joseph, born September 16, 2008, and Grace Margaret made her appearance on January 11, 2010. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more. Follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube.